Okay, sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna, devotees, Dandrat Pranam, Mount Station. Cheto darpanamajjanam bhava mahadavagninirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jeevanam Anandabhivrutavartanam Pratipadam Purnaspadanam Sarvatmana Snapanam Param Vichayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction for the humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all the transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we always anxious. Nam namakari bahudana nija sarva shakti tatra तत्रापितनियमेन स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्लभम् ईदृशम् ईदृशम् इह गणे नना गृहा. O my Lord, you your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Can I read?
Read, Rama, read. Third verse.
Yes.
Sure. Trinadapi. Read. Trinadapi Sunichena.
Trinapi Sunitena Taropi Vishnu
Amanena. Manadena.
Kirtaniya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of
false prestige,
and should be ready to offer on respect to others in such a state of mind. One can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Next, who wants to read? Yes, Vipul Prabhu.
I can go, yes. No dhanam, no janam, no sundurim kavitam ba jagadish kamoye. Mama janmani share bhavatat bhakti hoitaki toyi. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want you causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Amsulas Prabhu.
Dandrat Pranam, everyone. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhava budau kripayataya tava pada pankaja stita duli sandrasham vichintaya. O son of Maharaja Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet, somehow or other, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Dandrat Pranam. Thank you.
Yes, Vashish Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nayanam galata shrudharaya vadanam gat rudhaya gira pulakir nichitam vapukada tavanam grahani bhavishyati. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Hare Krishna.
Vijay Mataji, you want to read?
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nidaitam, Nidaitam, Nimishena, Akshusha, Ravrushaitam, Sunyayitam, Jagat Sarvam, Govinda, Virahena Me. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. Hare Krishna.
Ashlishiva padratam pinashtumam Adarshanam marmahatam karotu va Yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampato Mad prananathastu saivana paraha. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Shri Chaitanya Shishtastakam Ki Jai. Okay, so I think we read the whole last time. We read all the 11 verses, or let's again start from the beginning. Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, want to read the first verse?
Sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavata pranams to all the assembled devotees. Text 1. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jivva vegam udharopasta vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhirah sarvam apimam prithivim sasishyat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Can I read one more, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagrahah janasangascha laulyam cha shadbhir bhaktir vinashyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Second, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Third, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Fourth, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Fifth, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And sixth, being greedy for mundane achievements. Thank you, Prabhuji. Over to you.
Thank you. So how many, if you want to make disciples all over the world, right? Then only we should follow this, correct? If you want to make disciples all over the world. You say, I don't want to make disciples all over the world, so I don't care about this, right? How will we answer that? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you. So this is, of course, the pure devotees, but as a sadhaka, we have to still follow all these for our better, devotional service. And
Nice, thank you. Anyone wants to add to that?
Yes, Prabhuji. So even if we don't initiate anyone, we can be a leader, or we can be a shiksha guru, or we can be a counselor, or just living by our example making others take our example and follow and bring them closer to Krishna.
Very nice. Very nice. Everyone is a guru in some form or the other. Like a father is a guru to the children, correct? A mother is a guru to the children. They say the mother is the first guru, right? So everyone is guru in some form or the other. Maybe to one person, maybe to 100, or maybe to 10,000. That's a different thing. Everyone is able or should be able, because Prabhupada wanted everyone to become guru. Now, guru does not mean that initiating guru, as Srila Prabhu said. But if we are doing book distribution, we're trying to inspire what we have learned to be a via medium. So all this is really important to be a good disciple. A good disciple, a good follower, will be a good teacher. Very simple. Because if we don't follow, then what can we teach or preach? Because preaching is by example. So all this is to set the right example. And then naturally, if one is nicely following all these, of course, with the bhakti, these are just human principles. Then it gradually builds up all the way back to text 11, topmost frame of Radharani. So next instruction gradually builds up. So it brings us, elevates us to the human life, and then we keep adding the element of devotion, surrender to the spiritual master. So it is applicable for everyone and everyone. What to speak of Kṛṣṇa conscious? I mean, this is directly, it's, of course, the Acharyas gives what does Vachavegam mean. Vachavegam does not mean to just stay silent, right? Or to not speak. That means to not speak nonsense. Gossip, criticism, Hollywood, Bollywood. But to speak of Kṛṣṇa, to understand, we are also talking now. But are we controlling our speech? As per the scriptures, yes, because you're talking about Kṛṣṇa. But we can use the same Zoom forum and talk about maybe the new elections, maybe the new politics, maybe the new, so many car, new home, new this, new that. That's called Prajalpa. Okay, let's read a few more verses from Bhagavad Gita. And I think we stopped. But let's read from 2.62. Yes, Rakesh, Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so much. Hare Krishna devotees, 2.62. 2.62. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsaha Sanghasteshu Pajayate Sanghat Sanchayate Khamhat Krodho Vijayate. Translation: while contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. 2.63. Krodhat bhavati sammohat smriti vibharama smriti brahmasad buddhinasat pranasyati. From anger delusion arises, and from delusion bewildered of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Thank you, Prabhu.
Who likes these verses? Thank you, Rakesh, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Who all like these verses?
I like it.
I also like this two set of, there are multiple verses, but I like this set. Do you see the whiteboard? Everyone sees the whiteboard?
Yes.
Let's discuss these verses. So what's the first phase on this? We just read. Let's see how much we can retain.
Object, contemplating the objects.
Yes, very good. So contemplation on what? Sense objects. Right?
Yes.
So what does that lead to?
Attachment.
Sorry?
Attachment.
That leads to attachment. Very nice. Anyone else? What attachment leads to?
Desire.
Let's see if everyone else also wants to speak something.
Attachment. Yeah.
Yeah.
From
So what
attachment.
happens after attachment?
Desire.
Desire. So what's the specific word used here?
Lust.
Lust. Very nice. Lust. So these are the stages of fall down of uncontrolled mind. Dhyayato Vishyan Punsa Sanga Steshu Upajayate. Sanga, attachment. And after attachment, Sanga Sanjayate Kama. Kama is lust. What happens after Kama?
Anger.
Anger. Yes, Kama Krodho Bijayate. Right? Krodha. What happens after Krodha or anger?
Bewildered.
Krodhat bhavati sammoha.
Illusion.
Lust.
Huh?
Intelligence.
Illusion or delusion. Yeah, that delusion, right? Illusion or delusion. Confusion. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. What next? What comes after that?
Smriti.
Intelligence.
Smriti what? We gain smriti. Smriti vibhramaha. Bewilderment of memory. Smriti is memory. We lose our memory or we are bewildered. So bewilderment, smriti vibhrama. Bewilderment of memory. What happens next?
Buddhinash. Buddhi.
Smriti Brahmasad Buddhinasha. So what is that in English? Buddhi is what?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. So loss, nash is loss of intelligence. Correct? What happens after that?
Falling again.
Buddhinashat pranashyati. Complete fall down or fall down. So these are the 8 stages mentioned in this verse. Very nice verse. So if we have to get out of this trap, it's a very vicious trap. What is the best way to get out of this trap? Any thoughts?
You said cut that thought, right? Immediately.
Yes. The best way is to get out at this level. Correct? Because if we start contemplating Ajamila, he saw the episode of that prostitute and that, embracing that drunkard. But he continued to contemplate and then all that stages followed. But we may also see those things, we may also hear about those things. But Krishna says, wherever the mind goes, we have to bring it back to spiritual elements. So this stage, especially in Kali Yuga, at least even you can say one stage before is seeing that sense object or hearing about that sense object. It could be music to the ears, some beautiful scene to the eyes, which the corrupted senses want to see. Like that's a pre-stage, we can say. But then comes contemplation. We have a choice. Do I contemplate about it or do I not? So this is the best path to exit. If we lose that opportunity, or if we take it lightly, then fall down is down. It's about to happen. So, okay. Any quick questions or comments about this? Does it make sense? Does it clarify? Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my humble obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Before reciting Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and by rendering service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Namami Damodara Pada Pankajam Karomi Damodara Pujanam Sada. Vadami Damodara Nama Nirmalam Smarami Damodara Leela Sundaram. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you so much for joining in this auspicious month of Kartik. We still have half the month approximately. So, and then the middle phase is the phase with, a conditioned mind like myself may breed some familiarity. When we get something new, we are little, eager about it. Hey, new home, new car, new this, new that, new Kartik month. Very nice, very nice, very nice. And when it is about to go, last 2 days only left, last 3 days, last 5 days left. Then also, little bit sincerity. But in the middle, conditioned soul like myself thinks, same, I'm doing same, Damodar Ashtakam, same. So it's always good to keep ourselves encharged and inspired, not just in the beginning, not just in the end, but throughout. So again, this wonderful Kartik month is going on. So let's take special advantage by hearing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We completed chapter 3 entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. Beautiful prayers we all discussed, read, understood, tried to understand. Of course, who can understand Krishna? But we can try. So let's begin through the medium. What happens, as Guru Samana Prabhu mentioned in the recent class, Vandanam frees us from Bandhanam. The next chapter is entitled Gajendra Returns to the Spiritual World. So the Bandhan is free. What was that Bandhan? The crocodile Bandhan, the alligator Bandhan. That was already freed because of the wonderful prayers. Now this chapter will talk about it in more detail. So let's first do the summary. So Babu, Kanayan Prabhu, you want to read the summary of this chapter? Chapter 4.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
This fourth chapter describes the previous birth of Gajendra and the crocodile. It tells how the crocodile became a Gandharva and how Gajendra became an associate of Supreme Personality of Godhead. There was a king on Gandharva planet whose name was Huhu. Once this king Huhu was enjoying with a woman in the water, and while enjoying he pulled the leg of Devala Rishi, who was also taking bath in water. Upon this, the sage became very angry and immediately cursed him to become a crocodile. King Huhu was very sorrow when cursed in the way. Then he begged pardon from the sage, who in compassion gave him a benediction that he would be freed from when Gajendra was delivered by personality of Godhead. Thus the crocodile was delivered when killed by Narayana. When Gajendra, by mercy of Lord, became one of the Lord's associates in Vaikunta, he got 4 hands. This achievement is called Sarayu Sarupya Mukti, or liberation of receiving a spiritual body exactly like that Narayana. Gajendra, in his previous birth, he had been great devotee of Lord Vishnu. His name was uh, Indrayumna, and he was a king of Tamila country. Following the Vedic principle, this king retired from family life and constructed a small cottage in Malayachala hills, where he always worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead in silence. Agastya Rishi, along with many disciples, once approached King Indrayumna ashram, but because the king was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could not receive Agastya Rishi properly. Thus, the Rishi became very angry and cursed the king to become a dull elephant. In accordance with this curse, the king was born as elephant and he forgot all his previous activities in devotional service. Nonetheless, in his birth as elephant, when he was dangerously attacked by crocodile, he remembered his past life in devotional service and remembered a prayer he had learned in that life. Because of this prayer, he again received the mercy of Lord. Thus, he was immediately delivered and he became one of Lord's four-handed associates. Sukadeva Goswami ends this chapter by describing the good fortune of elephant. Sukadeva Goswami says that by hearing the narration of Gajendra deliverance, one can also get the opportunity to be delivered. Sukadeva Goswami vividly described this, and thus the chapter ends. Yeah. So Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think actually even if the King Gajendra is Gajendra, in previous life, he was doing devotional service, but it will remain in his next janma as well, and it saved him, and he became devotee of Godhead and reached higher state. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very, very important lesson. That bhakti is never lost. And these scriptures again and again are telling about that how the soul is eternal and body is temporary and bhakti is never lost. And I think Rakesh Prabhu, you had this question, who was Gajendra and who was the crocodile in the previous life? So this chapter will nicely answer that. Of course, Prabhupada has mentioned in the summary, but we will read more details. So let's start to read this wonderful, nice chapter about the previous lives of Gajendra and the crocodile as well. Shri Shuka Uvacha Tada Devarshi Gandharva Brahmeshana Puru Ogamaha Mumuchaha Kushumashramam Sam Sham Santa Karmatadharai. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, when Lord delivered Gajendra, king of elephants, all the demigods, sages, and Gandharvas headed by Brahma and Shiva praised the activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and showered flowers upon both the Lord and Gajendra. Purport: it is evident from this chapter that great sages like Devarshi, Devala Rishi, Narada Muni, and Agastya Muni will sometimes curse someone. The curse of such a personality, however, is in fact a benediction. Both the crocodile, who had been a Gandharva in his previous life, and Gajendra, who had been a king named Indradyumna, were cursed, but both of them benefited. Indradyumna, in his birth as an elephant, attained salvation and became a personal associate of Lord in Vaikuntha, and the crocodile regained his status as Gandharva, we find evidence in many places that the curse of a great saint or devotee is not a curse, but a benediction. So, this wonderful verse, so Shukdev Goswami is mentioning that in the last chapter ended when the crocodile the head was chopped off by the Sudarshan Chakra, and Gajendra was relieved. So upon that scene, who all came? At that time, Tada, Deva Rishi Gandharva, the demigod, sages, Brahma, Ishana, Puroghamai, headed by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So that means there were lot of demigods, lot of rishis. Where? Tada. Tada means there. At that scene, they all came. Mumuchaha, they showered. What? Kusuma. Asaram. Kusuma. We have the Kusum Sarovar. So Kusum refers to flowers. As Srila Prabhu was explaining in the Govardhan Leela. So Kusum, they showered Kusum, the flowers. Upon whom? Sham Santai. And they were also praising. They were praising what? Karma Tad Hari. Hari. Karma Tat Hari. That activity or that transcendental activity of Lord. And what does that activity refer to here? The deliverance of Gajendra. So, in short, we see that all the demigods, headed by Brahma, Shiva, etc., Indra, Chandra, Varuna, they all glorify Lord Hari. And of course, we also read what? Some of them came because they had done some offense. What was the offense? Who remembers? Anyone remembers the offense of the demigods?
They were thinking, why Gajendra did not approach them.
Yes. Why Gajendra did not approach them? Very nice. 31, text number 31. So now they're all glorifying. So what is the formula to kind of atone? Is to glorify. If we criticize someone, first, of course, repentance and sincere glorification from the heart. So they also, kind of felt like Indra felt, I am great. And then he made an offense. And then what he did next? Sincere atonement. He realized his mistake. And then he came over there and offered wonderful prayers. And offered the bathing ceremony to the Lord. Surabhi Kund, Govind Kund, so many kunds were formed. So there's a great lesson again here. And they were showering flowers upon the transcendental activities of the Lord. Tat Hari. So Tat Hari becomes Tat Dhari. But Prabhupada in the purport is mentioning more about the chapter. That the chapter talks about the previous life. And Prabhupada is mentioning that the curse of a devotee or the Supreme Lord is not really a curse, but it is a benediction. So many examples are there. Let's discuss few examples. Who all know an example of a curse of a Lord or this devotee which was not a curse but a benediction? Anyone?
Nalkubera and Manigriv, they are reading every day.
Yes, Damodar Leela, Nalkuber, Manigriv, they were cursed by Narad Muni. Very nice. They were the sons of Kuvera, and then they were delivered by the Lord. Anyone else?
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj, quite similar situation to Indradyumna. He also didn't offer respect, or he unintentionally did not offer the respect. He was absorbed in meditation, and then Later he got, he's the Acharya of Shravanam. Yes, Nandini Mataji. Nice, very nice people, Prabhu.
Parikshit Maharaj, Chitraketu.
Ketu. What was the, yes, I'm just thinking.
Which the
Can you elaborate?
Vitrasura he became.
Yes. And who cursed Chitraketu?
Parvati, Mother Parvati.
Mother Parvati cursed. So we read that in the previous cantos, that how Chitraketu is joked about Lord Shiva and then Mother Parvati. Well, it was not directly an offense, but okay, very nice. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Mother Ahilya.
Mother Ahilya, want to tell a little bit?
Yeah,
what
she was
there?
cursed by Gautama Muni. And when Lord Ramachandra came to visit with the lotus feet touch of the Lord, she became again like woman because she was cursed to be like stone.
Very nice, very good example. That is it a curse to get the lotus feet of the Lord? It's the biggest of the blessings. So yes. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, in the Ramayana, Nal and Neel, they were cursed by Munis because they were throwing of the sea. So they were cursed that whatever they throw in the sea will never drown. It's in the Ramayana.
Yes, that's an interesting story. Thank you. Yes, there are so many examples are there about this. So the point here is that now what does a curse actually mean? Now, how do I really treat it? I think does someone want to speak anything? If you're not speaking, then please unmute. Please mute. But if you want to speak, then you can raise your hand so I know I can stop and you can speak. Anyone wanted to add anything to that?
Lord Krishna was cursed by Gandhari. That Yadu dynasty will be destroyed.
Mm-hmm. So how that was a blessing? Can you elaborate that, Mataji?
Because of that, the entire Yadu dynasty did not have to feel separation from Lord Krishna, and all of them went back together.
Thank you. Subrat Prabhu, you are speaking something?
Was it Narad Muni caused Prajapati?
Cursed Parvati?
No, Prajapati.
Prajapati? Daksha, you mean?
Yeah, that's Prajapati, yeah.
Can you elaborate that, please? Can you help us to remember that?
He will not stay in one place. I don't know what happened after that. But that taken the boon for him, right?
Yeah, so it was opposite actually. Prajapati Daksha cursed Narada. So yeah, Prajapati Daksha is also a great personality. And when all his children were turned into brahmacharis by Narada Muni, Prajapati Daksha got a little angry and said, "Hey, you will not stay at one place." Narada said, "Okay, that's good. I can continue to preach everywhere now. Now no more I have to buy tickets and stand in line to get visa. I can just keep moving." So yeah, the point is, okay, now all these are great examples. How does that apply to me? Now what is cursing? To speak of cursing, when my senior devotee, when my Shiksha Guru, when my Diksha Guru tells me some heavy words, do I take it as a blessing? Or do I try to justify, no, I was right. Prabhuji, you don't understand. Oh, Gurudev, you don't understand. I understand better. So the point is, these stories are not just stories to be read. These are meant to understand that when a senior, mature Vaishnava, who's our genuine well-wisher, all these, like Narada is a well-wisher, these personalities are not enemies to the other whom they curse. Like Narada was not the enemy of Nalkuvera or Manigriva. So they were genuine well-wishers. So it's for their purification. So a disciple, ordinary disciple, may try to justify and may not take the curse as blessing. What to speak of curse, even the scolding of the Guru, even some heavy words of the Guru. The ordinary person will say, hey, why? The Guru is pious, the Guru doesn't understand me, the Guru is this, the Guru is that. But if we understand that the harsh scolding of the senior Vaishnavas, Guru, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru is actually a blessing. Like a genuine, well-wishing teacher or a genuine mother or a father may sometimes scold the child, correct? But a less intelligent child would think, a less intelligent student will think that the Guru is not right. The father or mother are my enemies. Why are they scolding me? If they would have been my well-wisher, they would be very nice to me. So in this day and age, the curse can also be related to heavy words or tough words. And we are also, we may be parent to some, but we are also child or a student in the path of Bhakti Yoga. So how do I react when I get some heavy words from my Guru? So that's the question. Do I consider it as a blessing or do I consider it as a curse? That's something to meditate upon. Any other comments or questions?
Prabhuji, so any other devotees
Yes,
wants to talk? Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Prabhuji, I'll wait.
Okay. So Prabhuji, here, like, yeah, whatever you discussed so far, I understood that. But here, King Indradumna was meditating on the Supreme Personal Godhead. And still he was cursed. And in his next life, he could not even remember his previous activities in devotional service. So it looks like very heavy on King Indradumna, who did not do any wrong to get cast, though he ultimately get liberation, but still it is not for me like very hard to take. Can you elaborate more?
You said he could not remember, but he remembered. Maybe at the later phase, but he remembered, right? Gajendra is in Dumna, was in Dumna. So yeah, he didn't remember from the very beginning, but in the right time, when this prana prayana samaye, he remembered. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevar. He remembered. So who am I to comment on how the Lord may make one remember after one moment or one lifetime or 10 million lifetimes? So that is very inconceivable for us to comprehend upon. It may seem heavy. Now, Nalkuvir and Manigriva also were in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj for thousands of years before they got bewildered. It's not that the very next year Krishna delivered them. They were there for thousands of years. So in that state, one will go through, it's a good point you brought up. One in one's heart is going through that I missed it again. That all is not mentioned, but it is my understanding. They were like some may remember that, or some may like. A good example is the deer, Jad Bharat. So Jad Bharat became the deer, and then he was constantly. First of all, he didn't say that I was almost at the stage of bhava or prema, just one stage less. I was not just like a 1 month old devotee. I was attained the stage of bhava, and you made me dear. So a devotee never feels that I deserve better. Devotee always feels Krishna's mercy, that even in the deer, I could remember, and he did that. He remembered, and next life he got Jad Bharat and finally delivered. So Krishna's plans are hard to understand, but from a relative understanding, one lifetime is nothing. From the eternal perspective, what is one lifetime? A couple thousand years from, it's not even a dot on that numbered line. Infinite, it's just one dot. It may seem big, thousands of years of fighting before he could speak the shlokas, but From eternal point of view, it's nothing. Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Pranam Prabhu, everybody Dandavat. So Bipulra Prabhu, actually I had a similar problem to understand this pastime. I felt that Lord is hard by not giving such a, it's not offense made on purpose at all. And he was worshipping Krishna, he was meditating on Krishna. So how can anything be offense, right? But it was just like Chitraketu accepting curse of Mother Parvati because she is devotee, he accepts it. Parikshit Maharaj accepts the curse. It's a misunderstanding, but he accepts that the other person is a devotee of the Lord, so he upholds the word. I felt that was the thing. Is that we basically really appreciate whatever the other person feels, which is beyond our control, as a direct word coming from the Supreme Lord's mouth. Like, Prabhupada said to the doctor, no, Krishna is speaking through his mouth. So, the person assumes himself to be really fallen and accepts the curse as a Lord's mercy. He says that whatever I'm getting is much better than what I deserve. And so Jai Vijay also, they were cursed. They were doing Lord's service, but they were cursed. But then they got a chance to become, in the Jagai and Madhai. So they would have never seen Lord Gauranga otherwise. So this is like a once in a lifetime benediction. In trillions of years, they got to see Lord Gauranga. So this way, every curse is a benediction, Prabhu. And Gajendra also got to see Lord Hari. Maybe with his just worship, he may not have gotten to see Lord Hari. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Very nice question. Thank you.
Hare
Is that
Krishna.
okay, Prabhu? Shubhala is going, Prabhu, does that?
Yes, thank you so much, Nandini Kishwari Mataji. Prabhu, thank you so much. Yes, Sudhir Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, actually, I also was, we were discussing this morning when in Bhagavad Gita class, and I had a similar question like Bipul Prabhu, and then we were reading Chaurashtakam. In that, Lord Krishna says, not Lord Krishna, in this, the third one, he turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggars. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard in all the three worlds. So he gives this benediction only to the pure surrendered souls, like Srila Prabhupada. He had a very nice business when we were watching the Abhay Charan series. So he had a very good business, but Krishna took away everything because he wanted to give the higher taste. So I think I just remembered that point, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Again, reflecting back on the class of His Grace Charu Prabhu. So Krishna may sometimes, chop off the good to bring out the best. Right? Like a good gardener. You remember that class? So chop off the good. It may seem he was doing good. Yes, he was doing good. But Krishna wanted to bring out the best. So he arranged this beautiful pastime. Okay. Yes, Ekant Prabhu, you wanted to share something?
Prabhu, Mataji, Nandini Mataji just explained that my question as well. So about my question was about Jaya and Vijaya, and Mataji answered that. So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Mataji, you can read the mind. So. Okay,
Yes.
Let's read the next verse. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you want to read text 2?
Yes, Prabhu. Nedu durdandu bhayo divya gandharva nanru tuturjagaha rishaya charanaha siddhastushtavu purushottamam neduhu. Next please. There was a beating of kettle drums in the heavenly planets. The inhabitants of Gandharva Loka began to dance and sing. while great sages and the inhabitants of Charana Loka and Siddha Loka offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottama. That's it, Prabhu. Right?
Yeah, you want to say something? Or...
So everybody jubilant, and they are having they're playing the best of the music in the which is like throwing a party in the material world. Back to you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. This is the quality of devotees, that they are happy to celebrate Lord's pastimes. Like yesterday we celebrated Govardhan Puja, or there are so many festivals, Utsava. So Utsav means lot of Utsav. Utsav, we should celebrate with great jubilation. Dancing, chanting, and the beating of kettle drums, Nedu and Dundubi, or in our modern context in ISKCON society, doing mridanga and kartal or harmonium and dancing, showering flowers upon the Lord and doing abhisheka and dressing the Lord nicely, offering prayers and chanting verses and chanting the kirtan. So there should be a lot of enthusiasm, like how these devotees are showing, with a lot of, and all these are just, as Shukdev Goswami is basically vividly describing that how devotees are so happy, like their hero, when the hero kills the villain, or when the hero protects the someone. So everyone is happy. Hey, the hero has come. Now he will show the action. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Wow, wonderful, wonderful. All glories, all glories. So we should also, in the kirtan, in the festival, whether any festival, any Janmashtami or Govardhan Puja or Deepavali or Ram's appearance or Gaura Purnima, ISKCON has so many festivals. Gaudiya Vaishnava culture has so many. So we should be very, very enthusiastic, because enthusiasm is contagious. One's enthusiasms, will pass on to the other and the other. It's a contagious good virus. So we should not distance ourselves from the enthusiasms of others. We should distance from wrong things. On the contrary, if we are dull and not enthusiastic, that will also pass on. We will pass on that lack of enthusiasm also. So the point is that we should be happy, joyful, chant, dance happy, and sing prayers, chant verses, and be happy in Lord's festivals, like we read here. Any other comments besides that? Okay, text number 3 and 4. Yes, Silas Prabhu, you want to read?
Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam, everyone. Text 3 and 4. Yo saugraha sa vai satya paramas-charya rupa drik mukto devala sapena huhur gandharva sattamaha pranamya shisha disham uttama slokam avyayam agayata yasodhama kirtanya gunasatgatham. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The best of Gandharvas, King Huhu, having been cursed by Devala Muni, had become a crocodile. Now, having been delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he assumed a very beautiful form as a Gandharva. Understanding by whose mercy this had happened, he immediately offered his respectful obeisances with his head and began chanting prayers just suitable for the Transcendental Lord, the Supreme Eternal, who is worshipped by the choicest verses. Purport. The story of how the Gandharva had become a crocodile will be described later. The curse by which the Gandharva took this position was actually a blessing, not a curse. One should not be displeased when a saintly person curses someone, for his curse indirectly is a blessing. The Gandharva had the mentality of an inhabitant of the celestial planetary system, and for him to become an associate of the Supreme Lord would have taken millions of long years. However, because he was cursed by Devala Rishi, he became a crocodile and in only one life was fortunate enough to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. And he promoted and be promoted to the spiritual world to become one of the Lord's associates. Similarly, Gajendra, who was also delivered by Supreme Personality of Godhead when he was freed from the curse of Agastya Muni. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this verse is just reinforcing the point, at least in the purport. Prabhupada is telling us the points we just discussed about how spiritual personalities curse is actually a blessing. And we see how the Gandharva would have lived for many, many years in the material world without being able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But since he got cursed by Devala Rishi, he was able to see the Supreme Lord when he came to save Gajendra, because he became a crocodile called Hu. And he was part of this wonderful pastime. This curse was a benediction. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, Vipul Prabhu, this purport answers your question again. Prabhupada is so clearly mentioning Gandharva had the mentality of inhabitant of celestial system, and for him to become an associate of the Supreme Lord would have taken millions of years. So the ordinary path would have taken him millions of years probably. But he was cursed by Devala Rishi, and we know Devala, Sita, Devala, Vyasa, these are all great, very, very powerful personalities. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna also speaks that all the great sages also tell us, Sita, Devala, Vyasa, come to the same conclusion that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That there also the word Devala Rishi comes. So now he was cursed with that by that Devala Rishi. And what happened? Next lifetime only he got the darshan of the Supreme Lord. And it's not that he just regained the body of Gandharva back again. Prabhupada is clearly mentioning he was fortunate enough to see the Lord face to face, number one, and promoted to the spiritual planet to become Lord's associate. So not only Gajendra became Lord's associate, but eventually this crocodile also became Lord's associate. Correct? So in the ordinary path, he would have just probably been in Gandharva for many, many lifetimes. And is it good to be a Gandharva for 10 million lifetimes? Or is it good to be Gandharva and then take crocodile and next time back home, back to Godhead? Now what will you say? So
yeah, better to be crocodile for one lifetime.
Yes. So that's the mercy of great souls. And we discussed this point. One should not be displeased when a saintly person curses someone. Displeased. One should not justify, hey, Prabhuji, you are wrong, I am right. Hey, you don't understand me. Hey, this is that. Hey, this. Oh, Gurudev, you don't know much. I know better than you. So it may seem to be a joke also, but there is a lot of truth in that. Nowadays, to get the cursing or even the chastisement of Guru is not easy. Because the Guru will not chastise any ordinary student. Because getting chastisement, he will only chastise because if he chastises ordinary student, then he knows that he will just never show his face back. He will stop doing whatever little he's doing or she's doing. But to one who is really, really surrendered servant of the spiritual master, then the Guru, even if the Guru kind of is very heavy upon that disciple, because the Guru knows that he will not take it in the wrong way, he has Guru Shraddha, he has firm faith in the words of the spiritual master, to that disciple the Guru will may chastise, because he knows that he'll take it in the right way, because the Guru wants the diamond is not, it's basically carbon under pressure. So that pressure transforms the black carbon, which has practically zero value, into diamond, which has millions of dollars of value. But everyone may not be able to take that pressure, or may not be ready to take that pressure, or may not be surrendered to take that pressure. It may sound heavy. I'm just speaking for myself, to myself, sorry. Narad Muni was also Gandharva. He was Gandharva. He became son of the maidservant, and then Narad Muni. So is it a blessing or is it a curse? It's a blessing. So many examples. Any other comments, questions, additions on this topic? Okay, you can read one more verse. Anyone would like to read? Text number 5. Yes, Vipul Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees, downward pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 5. So anukampita ishena parikramaya paranamayatam lokashayo pasyatto lokam sham aggan mukto kilbisha. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Having been favored by the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and having regained his original form, King Huhu circumambulated the Lord and offered his obeisances. And then, in the presence of all the demigods, headed by the Brahma, he returned to the Gandharva-loka. He had been freed of all sinful reactions. So, definitely, we should respect the Lord and devotees by obeisances and circumambulating, and especially when this benediction happens, definitely we should be more humble. And yes, that we can do lifetime of pious activities or sadhana, but ultimately it depends on the Lord's mercy to become liberated and to be his associates. Back to Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, having favored by the mercy of the Lord. So, this was the mercy of the Lord and his devotee. So, this right now we're just talking about the crocodile. His name was Huhu. Haha, Huhu. So, he was a Gandharva named Huhu. And then, who was the Rishi who cursed him? Devala. So, anytime the devotee and the Lord are kind of saying goodbye, the way is circumambulation. And this is not just one time. We can see this theme multiple times in Bhagavatam. Nalakuvira and Manigrave, after saying prayers. So, one important point which we missed maybe here in the last verse, that Huhu, when he regained his form after the crocodile, he also offered prayers. He began chanting prayers just suitable for the transcendental Lord, who is worshipped with choicest words. Kirtana guna sat katham. So, very important that not Gajendra offered in his previous life as the elephant, but crocodile also offered prayers. And he also attained ultimately the Sarupya Mukti. So, and Nalkuir and Manigriv, after they were back to their form after the tree body, they also offered prayers. When they were about to leave, they circumambulated. And this theme is very, very common. This Pradakshina Pade Pade. Circumambulating Govardhan Hill, circumambulating Tulsi Maharani, circumambulating the temple, circumambulating great souls. So this is a common theme, and we must do it. His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj has given a very nice, about 1.5 hour lecture about circumambulation or Pradakshina. So for those who want to hear more detail, I really like that lecture. You can hear that. Any comments or questions? Subrat Prabhu, do you want to speak something?
Also, I have got one question. Like actually, it's a big question, but like example, somebody is cursed by one saint person, and in the next life he forgot everything, and he is to keep on doing the bad karmas. So then, did he get liberation or no?
Who got liberation? The person who is doing bad karma, or?
Yeah, the person who got actually he cursed. Like in the next life, you'll be get liberated by the Kṛṣṇa. But in the next life, he forget everything. He keep on doing the bad karmas. How come he is getting liberated?
To just better understand, I'm not understanding. So a great devotee like Narad Muni cursed a bad person, let's say.
Yeah, in
anyone.
the next life you will be a crocodile or something like lion, and you will be get liberation by Kṛṣṇa. Okay, but in the next life he forget everything.
That lion forgot everything. Okay.
Yeah, and he keep on doing the bad karmas. So how he is getting liberation? Because in the next life, what are the karmas he's doing? How he's going to get the result of those karmas?
Well, Karmana Ghena Karmana Gati. Nandini Mataji is unmuted here. Mataji, please go ahead. You want to
That's a nice shloka, Prabhu. Please go ahead. Please elaborate.
The intricacies of karma are very, very complex. So I can't say, oh, I have been cursed by some great devotee in the past. That's why I'm doing bad karma. And at the right time, I will be delivered by the Supreme Lord. These are great stories to help us understand, not just stories or fairy tales. These are the great itihasas, Puranas, to help us understand the qualities of the Lord, the principles of bhakti, the mercy of the Lord, the mercy of devotees. It is not to take those in a wrong way that or I mean, how is a very complex. How, like what I'm experiencing now, let's say I get diseased or anything can happen any moment. Why that is happening, or what lifetime reaction is happening, what curse is that happening, that's not in my control. And that's, if I try to speculate or try to go to Babas and this and that, I will just mess up my life. But what I can do now. So I think we should focus more on what can be done rather than going in the past and yeah. Mataji, you want to?
Prabhu, is your question about the elephant?
No, my question is like it's
about
not
anybody, generic.
No, I'm generic matter. It's not about this particular example. I am asking like if a person is caused by a devotee, like example. So in the next, because of some bad thing, he is caused. He got the curse, and he's saying in the next life you'll get liberation. Example. So, but in the next life, he's keep on doing some bad karmas again. So will he get liberated? Or again, these bad karmas will keep continuing for another life.
Well, it's exactly like Shagola's going Prabhu said, and even the last time, even if it continues for a couple of lifetimes, there's what's the big difference? But if he has been counter cursed right away, because if he apologized from the heart, the devotee is going to counter curse. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I will uphold my devotee's word. So Krishna will uphold, and somehow, things will happen. Magically, he will remember, or like Gajendra, or things will happen. Krishna always upholds his devotee's promise. So if he was cursed and he really sincerely sought sorry, forgiveness, and then the devotee counter cursed, then it's magic that will happen. Fan the spark. We are in the same mode. If our fans, somebody will come and fan our spark, and will become spiritual. It's just a covering. This false ego is just a covering, Prabhu. I hope that helps. Does it?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Subrat Prabhu, Mataji, thank you so much. Okay, so I guess we will pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse to see this wonderful story in more detail. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gajendra Bhakta Gajendra ki jai, the crocodile Bhakta ki jai, Uhu King ki jai. Shri Kartik Maas ki jai, Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktavind ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.